Hello everyone, it's Jasmine and welcome back to my channel. Today I have the third in my Handmade Christmas card series for 2016. And I'm starting out with the peppermint stick background from the Stamp of Approval kit for 2016 by Catherine Puller Designs. And I love this stamp. I'm starting out with Lucky from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm going to do not really an ombre, but in the green family, across the whole stamp. And I'm using the cover of my MISTI to anchor the stamp down. And I'm going to do a paper to stamp technique versus stamp to paper. And you can do this with any large background stamp you have. It just gives you more of an ability to get an even coverage of ink and get a solid stamping, versus having to try to put enough pressure on the middle to get the middle stamped down correctly. So this technique works really well with larger background stamps like this. So the lighter green is Jelly Bean and the teal green is High Dive. And all three of those are from Simon Says Stamp. So I put my cardstock panel down and then I use a scratch paper sheet on the back to run my fingers over it, holding the card panel in place and making sure I get an even stamping over the entire panel. And voila, there you go. It's quick and easy. And you can use any colors you want. So quickly before the ink dried, I went in and covered it in Ranger holographic embossing powder. The Simon Says Stamp dye inks dry fairly quickly, so if you plan on doing embossing, you got to do it like snap as soon as it comes off the stamp to get any moisture you need enough moisture for the embossing powder to stick. And that's why dye inks don't emboss fairly well, is because they dry too quickly. But this one kept enough moisture to keep the powder pretty evenly, so I was happy about that. So heat set that. And then I ran that panel through my die cutting machine using an Avery L Wonky Stitches die. The next thing we're going to use is another stamp set in the SOA kit, and that is Candy Cane Lane, also by Catherine Puller Designs. And I'm going to stamp the candy canes and the mint candy in Versamark, and then I'm going to heat emboss them using some different embossing powders. Now, I was using a mini cube for my inking and didn't have enough ink on it, so I didn't get a good application of ink. So the embossing powders didn't stick as well as I would have liked them to, but they worked anyway. I made them work. So the embossing powders I'm going to use are, that one is a red gold candy cane by Lindy's Stamp Gang. And this embosses to a really pretty pearl finish with a gold shimmer in it. So there's that one, candy cane red gold. And the gold I'm using is Rich Metallic Gold Superfine by Wow. And that is my favorite gold embossing powder. And the third one, I'm going to use Wow Vintage Candy Cane. This is actually a clear powder with red and silver glitter in it. It looks really pretty. But it does work better if you use a white ink behind it. I think it makes the glitter stand out more. Vintage Candy Cane. But it is pretty either way. So I'm going to go ahead and heat set those, and whenever you're embossing, if you've watched any of my videos, I say this all the time, you want to let your heat gun run for at least 30 seconds before you apply it to your paper. And that is going to lead to less warping because you're applying your heat to your paper for a shorter amount of time. So there's a die set that came with the candy cane set, or to match rather, and I die cut those. And then this die set is a standalone die set from Casual Fridays called Merry Labels. And then this stamp set, also in the SOA box, is Merry and Bright by Catherine Piller Designs. So I die cut my vellum and I use Stick It. I'll tell you what I goofed up on this, and I'll tell you where. Lined up my stamps and forgot to put the magnets on the vellum, so I had to readjust it. So what I did was I stamped on the wrong side of my vellum. I stamped on the release paper side instead of on the vellum side. So don't do that. Make sure you're stamping on the proper side of your paper. Otherwise, you'll waste it and have to redo it. So that's what I did. I just did it off camera. But I included it because I want you guys to see that when you goof up, it's okay. You can make it work or just redo it. It's just paper. And you can make it work or redo it or save it for something else. It's just paper. And it's okay. So I wanted to heat emboss the Joyful and then stamp the other two stamps in dye ink. And I'm going to go in with Simon Says Stamp Schoolhouse Red for that. I'm still using the Wow Gold Superfine embossing powder for this too. And heat embossing does not affect Stick It adhesive. It works just as well after you heat emboss with it. And that's how I love to stick down vellum on my cards, is add Stick It to the back and then die cut it, heat set it, do whatever I'm going to do to it, and then it's automatically a sticker. And it works perfectly all the time. And you don't see the adhesive behind the vellum after you've stuck it down your project. So that's kind of an extra bonus. Every other adhesive I've tried with vellum, you end up seeing it. So you have to find some other way to disguise it, or sequins or gems or whatever. But if you don't want to do that, Stick It is an excellent way to do it. So I'm kind of playing around with the placement a little bit and seeing what elements I want to add. I really like the red against the non-traditional green colors in the back, but the gold candy canes just weren't working for me with that background. I don't know what it was. So I'm going in with more stamps from the Merry and Bright stamp set, and I'm going to add a sprig of holly. I love this set, it's so versatile. You can use the same label die and stamp the branch all the way around it to make a wreath, or you could do it on just either side. It's really flexible, really versatile. You're going to see a few more in my series. So I stamped that a couple times in dark chocolate ink by Simon Says Stamp, and that's the branch. And in this stamp set, there is branches going either direction, and then each branch has a set of holly berries that matches it as an overlay. There's what you see there. I'm going to stamp that in Schoolhouse Red as well. And so here is one of my favorite foiled cardstocks by Deco to the View. And I'm using that as a panel to go behind my striped panel. And that is adhered to a Nina card base. So I'm applying some score tape to the back of my stamped panel. And I'm going to adhere that down to the gold panel. I love how that holographic glitter looks. And then here's my redone vellum stamped on the correct side, and stuck it down. So there I used the 2 red candy canes and the peppermint candy. And I stuck down the red candy canes just to stick it adhesive on the back, and then I used a foam dot for the peppermint candy. Oh no, I lied. I used glue dots for the candy canes. And sorry about the lighting there, guys. I was filming in the middle of the afternoon, and it was a cloudy day, so they're kind of rolling over the sun. So it kind of messed with the lighting a little bit. See, I did use foam adhesive on the peppermint. So that completes the card for today, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what you think, and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss anything else in the card series. Oh, and I had glossy accents to the little holly berries to kind of give a little bit of dimension and shine, a little more lifelike. So stay tuned for the rest of the series, and we will catch you next time. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.